Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Brigadier General Kenneth Hara, the commander of Joint Task Force 50. With me, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Dan Williamson. He is the Deputy Commander for the Title 10 Active Duty Forces. And to my right, your left, is Lieutenant Colonel John Ishikawa. He's the Acting Deputy Commander for the Title 32 National Guard Forces. He'll be replaced with Colonel Neil Mitsuyoshi, who's arriving this afternoon about 6 p.m., arriving in Hilo. I'd like to start with explaining the dual status commander. So early yesterday, Governor Ige submitted a formal request to the Secretary of Defense requesting that I be nominated as the dual status commander for the emergency here in Puna. That request was initially verbally approved by the Secretary of Defense yesterday afternoon, and then I got the formal written approval this afternoon about noon today. Dual Status Commander gives me the authority to command both Title 10 Active Duty Forces and Title 32 National Guard Forces. So it supports the unity of command and unity of effort. Joint Task Force 50, we currently have about 19 personnel that will assist me in planning for projected missions. Some of the missions we're anticipating is search and rescue, emergency evacuation, debris clearance, security. The Title 10 forces will only be a portion to the Joint Task Force 50 if there's a mission assignment that's given to the JTF that the National Guard forces cannot provide. For example, our C-47 Chinook helicopters are currently mobilized and training in Texas, getting ready for deployment to Kuwait. So that's a huge capability and capacity of rotary wing helicopter support that we no longer have in the National Guard. So to augment our UH-60 Blackhawks, we feel if we do a huge air evacuation that we might need the resources of the active duty, not just the Army, but also from the United States Marine Corps. So I think I'll leave it at that and open it up for any questions.
General, it seems like the area has died down. I'd hate to say that and use that term when it comes to the fissures and the eruption. Do you feel like this is more of a plan should they pop back up, or a CO2 emergency, or what is it that this is really planned?
So what I wanted to do is, as you saw, that the situation is very dynamic and constantly changing. There are days that there are lulls and it looks like, hey, the fissures aren't showing up, not a lot of seismic activity, and then the following day, a new fissure breaks out and a huge eruption and flowing towards the east, threatening Highway 137. So my whole point is trying to be responsive to the needs of the county, because we are in support of the county government. So they'll be submitting the request for assistance, and once that's vetted through the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, if it's going to be a Title 10 active duty support, that'll also be validated by FEMA and goes through the Defense Coordinating Officer, and then will be apportioned forces. So all of that takes time. Having the appropriate structure to plan and be able to respond to, should we get a mission assignment. If I don't have the personnel in place, we won't be responsive.
General, are you in a position, could you give us an idea of what resources you could call upon? Can you reach into Kaneohe Bay, for example, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really dependent, because for the Title 10 forces, they're focused on the war fight. So as a request for assistance gets validated by FEMA and the Defense Coordinating Officer, that'll go to US PACOM, and they'll determine the best entity to provide the support for that mission assignment. But it's pretty much anything that's in the United States military. I mean, it could actually come from CONUS as well if we have a major deficiency here in Hawaii. There might be some unique capabilities that neither US PACOM or the Hawaii National Guard has.
So depending on the need, any resources theoretically in Hawaii are available to you?
Correct.
Plus. Okay.
What's different in Hawaii from the other states is that when you have a shortfall and we do a request for forces to support a mission, generally the go-to for the National Guard would be through an emergency assistance compact from other states. But because we're in the center of the Pacific, the tyranny of distance, time and distance, our go-to is not through the EMAC or the Emergency Assistance Compact, but to work with U.S. PACOM, because it'll be more responsive again if we have assets here in the state of Hawaii.
Now, obviously, most of the time there are troops that are up at Pohakuloa training at any given time. You know how many are there at this moment if you need them?
What I was told is about 1,200 soldiers that are training there, and about 9 UH-60 helicopters.
Those are the Blackhawks, or those?
Correct.
And how many Chinooks do you have at your disposal?
Right now, I have nothing at my disposal. Like I said, what would drive the apportionment of forces to JTF 50 would be a request for assistance from the county, through the state, FEMA, Defense Coordinating Officer, and then they provide us the resources that we require. So there are CH-47s on Oahu. In fact, we use the CH-47s from the active duty for the Kauai mission. But I'm looking at what is the requirement. What's challenging for us is, what's going to be the number of, or the population that we need to evacuate by air. As long as the roads are open and there's a voluntary evacuation, we're working with the county to see really what the numbers are going to be. So unless there's something catastrophic, no notice, we're thinking we may not even need aviation support.
General, can you say what kind of resources are on the ground from the Guard right now? Or maybe someone else needs to answer that. But
Right now on state active duty and a combination of our full-time force, I have 133 National Guard. On the Title 10 is just Colonel Williams in here, but we anticipate about 14 total, I believe, by Friday is what we're hoping for.
And are those Guard troops here on the Big Island, or are you talking about statewide?
That's here on the Big Island.
Okay.
Right.
working this emergency, basically, working
Correct.
this situation.
Correct.
And then have we had a command structure like this before? I don't remember it being announced before. Is this unique? Or?
Well, we had the dual status command for APEC. I don't recall what year it was. In fact, my brother, Major General retired Gary Hara, was the dual status commander for that event. 2011 was APEC.
And this building is named after your father?
After my father, yeah. A lot of history in the Hawaii Army National Guard. My dad was a battalion commander here. He served over 37 years. He was a battalion commander for over 13 years here. His younger brother, Horace, was a Colonel 06, retired from the National Guard. My oldest brother, Gary, a 2-star general. Number 2 brother, second oldest, Command Sergeant Major, retired. First Sergeant, retired. And then now I got my son to join. So he's in the Hawaii Army National Guard and ROTC cadet at the University of Hawaii Manoa.
Did he have a choice?
I was going to ask
I
that.
would say he had a choice. To be honest, I was hoping he would join. I was trying to get him to join the Hawaii Air National Guard, but he told me, no, Dad, I want to follow in the footsteps. I'm very proud of him.
Real quick, when you mean mass evacuations, is there anything that quantifies that? What are you talking about?
I'm thinking it's Highway 130, 132, 137 being cut off and isolated community, and again, it'll be driven by the counties asking for our support.
So you don't have like numbers or an idea of what quantifies a mass
I
evacuation?
think worst case, what we're told is planned for about 1,000, but some of that, what they don't know is we believe some of the population may elect to stay there because they're so self-sufficient. Okay? All right.
Hey, thank you
Thanks,
very
Jim.
much, guys.
Thank you.